It's strange how you can win and still feel like you're losing, simply because someone else won differently. Let me tell you a story about a woman named Rachel. Rachel worked as a veterinarian in a small farming town. She was 41, skilled at her work, trusted by every farmer and pet owner for miles. She had a modest clinic, a small house, a life that looked perfectly fine from the outside. But every evening, when she locked her clinic door and walked home alone, a familiar weight settled on her chest. Her younger sister lived in the city. Successful lawyer, beautiful loft, Instagram full of gallery openings and international trips. Her college roommate had just published her second novel, doing podcast interviews and book tours. Even her ex-boyfriend ran a chain of restaurants now, his face in magazines. Everyone seemed to be climbing some invisible ladder, and Rachel was still here, treating farm dogs and house cats, living a life that felt unremarkably small. Late at night, scrolling through social media, comparing her simple dinner to her sister's restaurant photos, she felt something dark twist inside her. Not jealousy, exactly. Worse, a sense that she'd somehow failed, that her life was less than. One Tuesday afternoon, a farmer named Mr. Garrison brought in his old border collie, Scout. The dog had arthritis, his muzzle gray, his eyes tired but still bright. Rachel prescribed medication and watched Mr. Garrison carefully lift his dog into the truck, speaking to him in gentle tones. "He's been with me a long time," the farmer said. "Best dog I ever had. Just did his work every day, happy as could be." He paused. "Got another dog too. Young one from a fancy breeder. Championship bloodlines, won ribbons at shows. Cost me a fortune." Rachel nodded politely. "Want to know something?" Mr. Garrison smiled slightly. "That fancy dog can't herd worth a damn. Too nervous, too distracted. All those ribbons don't mean much when you need a dog to actually work." He looked back at Scout. "But this old boy never won a ribbon in his life. No fancy papers, just a farm dog. But he's brought in thousands of sheep. Never lost one, never let me down. Wouldn't trade him for 100 champions." He tipped his hat and drove away. Rachel stood in the parking lot, those words echoing in her mind. Wouldn't trade him for 100 champions. That evening, she drove out to the Garrison farm. She told herself she wanted to check on Scout, but really, she needed something she couldn't name. Mr. Garrison invited her in. His wife, Helen, offered coffee. They sat in the simple kitchen, sunlight falling through faded curtains. After a moment, Rachel asked quietly, "Did you ever want something different? A different life?" Helen smiled, a little sadly. "I wanted to be a concert pianist. Got accepted to a conservatory in Boston, went for one semester." Rachel looked at her in surprise. "I was surrounded by people who'd been training since they were 3. Private tutors, wealthy families, extraordinary talent. I was good, but I spent every day feeling small, feeling like I'd never catch up." She paused. "I came home for Christmas and just stayed. Started teaching piano to kids in town, met Henry, bought this farm, raised our children." "Do you regret it?" Rachel asked. "I used to, for years." Helen looked out at the farm. "But now I've taught over 200 children. Some still play, some teach their own kids. I play at church every Sunday, for my grandchildren, and I love it more than I ever loved performing for strangers who were comparing me to others." She met Rachel's eyes. "I stopped measuring my life against concert pianists, started measuring it against itself. And suddenly, it was enough." Mr. Garrison spoke gently. "You know why I told you about Scout today? I've seen that look before, the one you had when I mentioned the champion dog. That look that says everyone else has something better." Rachel's face grew warm.
"You're a good vet, best we've had. You come out at midnight when a horse is sick, but I bet you're looking at some vet in a big city hospital, thinking they're doing more important work." "The thing about comparison," Helen said softly, "is that it's a thief. It steals your peace by making you believe your good isn't good enough." Mr. Garrison stood. "Come with me. Want to show you something." They walked to the pasture behind the barn. Evening light painted the sky purple and gold. 2 horses grazed, one a beautiful chestnut thoroughbred, the other a plain mare, stocky and unremarkable. "That's Lady," Mr. Garrison said, pointing to the chestnut. "Excellent bloodlines, won races, beautiful to look at. And that's Molly. Had her 20 years. Nothing special, no awards."
Lady approached cautiously. Molly walked right up, nuzzling Mr. Garrison's hand with obvious affection. "Lady's impressive," he said, "but high-strung, needs special care, gets sick easy. Molly, steady, reliable. Kids can ride her, never spooks. Been through every season, every storm, never let us down." He stroked Molly's nose. "If you asked me which is more valuable, I'd say Molly every time. But most people pick Lady because she looks like what they think valuable should look like." He turned to Rachel. "You're Molly, and you keep comparing yourself to all the ladies, wishing you were shinier, more impressive. But you're missing what you actually are. Steady, deeply valuable to everyone who needs you." Rachel felt tears slip down her face. Helen touched her shoulder. "Your sister's life looks beautiful on a screen, but you live in reality, where your work matters to actual living creatures, where your hands heal, your presence comforts." "But it feels so small," Rachel whispered. "Small to who?" Mr. Garrison asked. "To some imaginary judge? Your life isn't small to Scout, not small to the farmers who call you at midnight." Rachel drove home slowly that night. The weight hadn't disappeared, but something had shifted, a question where there'd been only certainty. What if her life wasn't lesser? What if it was just different? Over the following weeks, Rachel started noticing things she'd been too busy comparing to see. The gratitude in people's eyes when she helped their animals, the quiet satisfaction of a job done well, the way her hands moved with confidence through procedures she'd done 1,000 times. She stopped checking social media as much, stopped measuring her quiet Tuesday against someone else's exciting Saturday, started measuring her life against itself. Was she kinder this year than last? More skilled? More at peace? Those were questions she could actually answer, and the answers were good. Her sister called one Saturday. "Can I visit next weekend? I need to get out of the city." When Claire arrived, Rachel took her to the clinic, to the Garrison farm. They sat on the porch as the sun set. "You were right to choose this," Claire said quietly. "You knew what you wanted." Rachel shook her head. "I just chose the life that fit me, not the one that would look best or sound most impressive." "Are you happy?" "I'm content, which is better. Contentment is knowing your life is enough even when it's ordinary." They sat in silence. "I spent so long comparing myself to you, to everyone who seemed to be doing more. It made me miserable." "I compare myself to you," Claire said. Rachel looked at her in surprise. "You seem so sure of yourself, so settled. I'm still trying to prove myself to people who'll never be satisfied." Rachel took her sister's hand. "What if we're both enough? What if we stopped comparing and just were?" Claire squeezed back. "I'd like that." Months passed. Rachel still had moments when comparison crept in, but now she recognized it, let it pass without believing it. She'd learned something crucial. Comparison was using other people's lives as a measuring stick for your own worth, and that stick was always the wrong size, measuring the wrong things. Her worth came from living with integrity, kindness, and purpose,
from using her gifts to serve her community, from growing in her own way. And by that measure, she was doing well. One afternoon, a young woman brought in a sick puppy, near tears. Rachel examined it. Parvo, serious but treatable. "We'll get him through this," Rachel said calmly. The woman's relief was visible. "Everyone said you're the best vet in the region." Rachel smiled. "I'm good at what I do. That's enough." She thought about Scout, steady despite no ribbons, about Molly, valuable beyond her plain appearance, about Helen, who found richness teaching children instead of performing for strangers, and herself, a vet in a small town, no fame, no glamour, just a woman doing good work, living a good life, finally at peace with both. Perhaps you know this pain, this constant measuring of your life against others, this sense you're falling short because someone else is climbing higher. Consider this. What if the race isn't real? What if you're comparing your behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel? What if your path is simply yours, not better or worse than anyone else's, just yours? The moment you stop measuring against others and start measuring against your own values, your own growth, that's when peace comes. Not because circumstances change, but because you stop letting other people's lives define your worth. You are Molly, steady, valuable, exactly what's needed by those who truly see you. And that is more than enough.